Hey everybody, Jim Ventura here. Time for my July-August column. I'm going to do a live read in just a few minutes here. Well, probably just a minute here. Anyway, this column was actually written way back in 2015, and I have never published it before, so I thought it was kind of time and a real interesting kind of subject here that I think a lot of my more metaphysical, spiritual followers here will resonate with. So let's kind of just dive right in here. And so the column is called Coming Home to a Place I've Never Been Before. All right, music has always been a notable influence in my life. It can often act as a powerful trigger for awareness or to shift my emotional state. I was doing some editing work a few months ago with Pandora, which is an internet radio station where you can program the types of music you specifically like, on in the background. Even though I had never programmed it to play any of his songs, Pandora decided to play a John Denver song I hadn't heard in many, many years. The song was Rocky Mountain High. While listening to the song, I found myself feeling very emotional. A long-forgotten memory surfaced, and I remember being in the 6th grade and inviting a school friend over to the house. We weren't actually good friends, but I thought it would make an effort to make more friends in elementary school. He brought John Denver's greatest hits with him, and we sat in my living room and listened to the album on my record player. John Denver was very popular in the late 70s, although some critics often panned his work and called him simplistic. Similar chart-topping artists like ABBA, Air Supply, The Carpenters were very popular, but cool people pretended to hate it, while secretly most of us really loved a lot of it. What struck me as most profound was a line in the song Rocky Mountain High, where John sings about his decision to move to Colorado Rockies at age of 27. The line is, he was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key for every door. Both as an avid reader in my youth and now as a writer, I've always been impressed by a writer's ability to say so much in just a few words. The song is clearly an example of this type of talent. All of the most notable experiences in my life were connected to this idea of coming home to a place I'd never been before. When I made the decision to move from New York to Arizona at around the age of 23, I'd never actually been to the state or to the West Coast at all. There were symbols and messages that were pulling me to it, though. When I flew out here for the first time in 1989 and stepped off the plane, I was excited about discovering the fun of what Arizona had to offer, and I immediately felt comfortable here for some reason. A year later, I made the move. I had some real difficulties with a friend I brought with me, but quickly made new friends that helped me through those difficult times. Even though I left a family and some extremely close friends behind, who I knew I would truly miss, I formed new supportive family rather quickly. I had been doing many past life regressions and dream work to explore my past lifetimes in my early 20s. Many of the people I met in Arizona were people I saw in those regressions and dreams. I'd come home to a place I'd never been before. After moving from apartment to apartment for almost every 2 years for the first 12 years of my life in Arizona, I decided to buy my first home in late 2003. I hired a realtor who was also a friend to help me. We spent 3 weekends looking at condominium homes. We would pick up our Starbucks, hop in our car to check out 3 to 5 places each Saturday. There were 2 homes that could have worked for me. While I seriously considered them, they didn't feel completely right for mostly practical reasons. But when I first walked up the stairs to my upstairs condo that I eventually bought, before I even went inside, I turned to the realtor friend on the stairs and I said, I feel like I've walked up these stairs a million times. This is where I'll live. Being a metaphysical person herself, she loved this, even though we had some difficult hurdles to overcome in the buying process. I am now happily lived here for 12 years. Nearly all of my close friendships and intimate relationships always felt like I was reuniting with people I already knew. The bodies, the nationalities, the sex, the age, and other elements may have been different this time, yet the sense that I already knew them was always there from the beginning. Whether it was a past life connection, a future self bringing me to this point, dreams, deja vu, compatible astrology, or any other number of deeper reasons, the feelings of familiarity have generally been a constant. But early work with past life studies often gave me insight before or after we met about our other connections. This has always added another important layer to my relationships. I once remember going to dinner with a close female friend when we were in our late 20s. We found ourselves spontaneously moving into a heated conversation at dinner that was a mild disagreement from two past selves who seemed to know each other in another time and space. Centuries ago, when we were husband and wife. Even the room itself seemed to change to another time and place. She had never experienced something like this before, and it wasn't exactly a common occurrence for me either. We laughed about it afterwards and realized why it was way better fit for many different reasons for us to just be good friends in this lifetime. I have had people try to force friendships and relationships that didn't seem to fit at times in my life. There were a number of times when I tried to do this as well in my younger days. I've experienced this before with jobs and significant aspects of life when it was usually other people suggesting, "You should at least try, Jim." And a few times I tried and it never worked. There's a smoothness to events, to pets, and people that feel like coming home to a place we've never been before. These experiences require no effort or struggle. When I heard Rocky Mountain High, I started to think about an extremely talented man whose music was called simplistic. Someone who wrote something as profound at this age of 27 was clearly talented and insightful. The critics were wrong. That same night I was flipping channels on television and came upon a PBS documentary about the life and death of John Denver. I caught it only 10 minutes into the 2-hour special. We often try to shape events, and there are times when we need to be assertive. Yet, the aspects of life that come so effortlessly to us are truly the most magical of all. Okay, so I wrote this column back in July of 2015, ergo I think I decided to publish it again in July, 9 years later. But yeah, just food for thought. I think a lot of you probably have had similar experiences in that way, and if you did and feel like you want to share them in the comments section, absolutely feel free to. Sometimes I will answer them. Sometimes I just will give you a thumbs up and a like because you took the time to do it. All right, so if you're not already subscribing to my YouTube channel, please like, subscribe. You can get the follow button as well. You also can receive the column in print every 2 months. If you want to take, if you're a reader, and follow it that way by emailing me at venturasag@yahoo.com to be added to the mailing list. And column always gets printed first over at my Buy Me a Coffee site. Information about that can be found on my website or by contacting me. Anyway, happy summertime. Till next time. Cheers.